I'm Courtney and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already watched it, I suggest checking out my Tampa reading vlog where I take you to the beach of Florida and go book shopping, play some volleyball, and of course swim. Also, feel free to follow me on my social media channels. I am over on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and now TikTok. So today we're doing my September TBR, but it's going to be a little bit different since I'm taking on a different type of reading challenge by Becca and the Books over on YouTube. So she has started this awesome game called BookoplAthon or Bookopoly, and this month is going to be a BookoplAthon. Say that 5 times fast. And it's a bookish game to find your TBR based on the board game Monopoly. So I've been finding it really interesting to see what other booktubers and bookworms around the world come up with in order to find out what their TBR should be. So normally for me, I pick my books out way in advance and I just look at my shelves and kind of do a mood read at that point. So I already have my November books picked out because that's going to be my nonfiction November month. So that I've already set. And then I initially had some ideas for some September books, but when I knew that Becca was coming out with this challenge, I stopped that and started from scratch and wanted to build based off this game. So it makes it a little bit more about chance and really gets me to look at my shelf and not just grab the books I just added to it from going to a bookshop or finding them at a little free library. So that I think will be very interesting since there's books that have been on my shelves for years and I need to decide if I want to unhaul them or read them, start them, and then decide they're not for me and get rid of them. I don't know. But as I am getting closer to my birthday, my birthday's not until November, let me just preface that. But I know I'm gonna do a massive book shopping day / weekend around my birthday and I need to make some space on my shelves. Plus, it's just getting out of control and I've thought about buying a new shelf. I have 3 shelves right now that are 3 high or 3 shelves high. And then I have a book cart and then like a couple of book stacks around the office or the library. And that's starting to feel a little bit overwhelming. And I thought about buying a 4th shelf, but that just throws off the aesthetic of how I put up my frames. And I just think it'll be way too much. Or if I get a taller bookshelf, then I'd have to like screw the nails into the wall and I don't feel confident enough to do that, or I don't want to damage the wall. But then if I don't put them in, then the books have a chance of falling, and if people stay in this room, then that's a danger to them. So I'm kind of at a loss, but I think what I'm doing is reading my TBR, making lots of room, and just switching out things here and there instead of buying a new shelf. Maybe that'll change as I get a house in the whatever future that is. But at this point, I need to calm down with my book buying. Maybe I'll get back into borrowing from the library and then from there I'll decide if I'm gonna buy it. I think I've switched into supporting indie bookstores more because of just wanting to be ahead of the curve when it comes to like Amazon, and I don't know, I just favor independent small businesses so much and I want to be able to support them. So I guess it's a win-win. I get some fun books, they get to stay open and give more books to more people. So that's my excuse. Is it solid enough? I don't know. Anyway, to the board and the game itself. So here is the board. So Becca at Becca's Books had shared a lot of resources. So she did a video that introduced the September Bookopla'thon, and it's really cool. She uses this or something similar to this all year round, and I think that's might be something I want to do. So October, I know it's going to be a spoopathon. Hold on, I need to look this up. Spoopathon, a month-long spoopy readathon hosted by Spoopy Hall, coming October 2021. Announcement coming September 1st. Oh shoot, oh no, it's August. I don't even know what day it is. Okay, so September 1st, I'll be able to figure out what I want to do for October. So that'll be that kind of, and I think it'll be fun. Like I think for that challenge, it doesn't have to be scary books, but I'm excited to see what kind of prompts there are. I might throw some thrillers in there, who knows? But I know I'm doing that for October. November, I'm doing nonfiction November. And then December might be back to the Bookopla'thon. So I don't know, like I see so much potential with this. And it's super fun to leave it up to chance and see what comes up with it. So basically here, I'm gonna read off a few of the directions and then go from there. So this will be happening from September 1st through September 30th, and it's based off of a TBR game where you roll dice and then you move your spaces based off what that number is across the board, and the number of times you roll is what is up to you. So I'm going to choose to roll 5 and have 5 books on my TBR, but if I roll a double, I have to add another book onto my TBR, or like roll again and pick another book, that whatever that lands on. And then there's some other interesting kind of plays that you might have to add more on depending on which board or which space you land on. So that's just general kind of thing. You can choose to build your TBR as you go along, which is what I want to do, or you can roll all 5 and then have the categories and then pick the books sometime later in the month. So I'm going to choose to have them ready so I can share with you all what those books are. And then what I need is the board. So you can make your own board based off the prompts. I'm in a Discord channel for the BookoplAthon, and there's a lot of people that drew their own in their bullet journals. They made their own board and like drew their own pieces and things in there. And I decided to print mine out, honestly, because I don't know, I feel like it would take me forever to do this much detail, or to the way that it would look nice for me. So it's already done, it's already provided, it's a nice resource, I'm going to use it. And then there's also these cards, chance cards, and then community shelf cards. So the chance cards are, you write a name of a book that is on your shelf that you want to read, and then if you land on that square and you pick up a card, that's the book that you need to read. And then the community shelf is you write prompts on the back of it, and then if you pick that up, then you go find a book that fits that prompt. So I printed out 10 of these and have written on there different books that I want to read that I feel like I've said I've wanted to read and haven't gotten to. And then on the community shelf on the Discord channel, there are prompts and like other things to think about for picking out your books that aren't necessarily already on the board itself. So that I'm excited about. You must start on the go space. If you can't find a book to fulfill the prompt you've landed on, you may choose to roll again. However, if you choose to do this, then you'll have to select 2 books for the next space you land on. And then we go into the different spaces. So unlike, I don't play Monopoly like much. I basically know what it is, but there's no like money exchange or money. There's no like trading or buying properties and things like that. It's just what spaces you land on, and then you go from there. And there's no like winning. Like the number of spaces or the number of rolls you have, like I said, is based off what you want to do. So you might get around the board 2 or 3 times. You're not going to go like bankrupt. You're not going to have to borrow from the bank or anything like that. It's just a cool board to be able to play from. Yeah, I think that is it. I'm going to go ahead and get started with these rolls and then pause to show you where I'm at with them. So here we go. Fair to say, my token will be this love to read pendant, or it's something that goes inside one of my lockets that broke, unfortunately, but I kept the little whatever you call these, so clearly I have to use the book one. First roll, let it be good. First roll. A double. Which automatically means I have another prompt to add, but let's start with what that looks like. So the first one is a mood read. Any book you feel like reading. If you're building a TBR at the beginning of the month, you can choose a book while you're making your TBR, or save it for during the month and pick up a book that suits your mood at the time. So, as I mentioned, I want to have a book, or my book's already set, so I'm going to pick one now. So I picked The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry by Gabrielle Zevin. I've had this on my TBR before, and I am in the mood for it because I just love and adore books about books, and this I feel like is one I've been told several times that is a great read, and not necessarily that it's light, but it's not going to be so overwhelming. It's something that lately I've been in the mood for lighter reads, or like faster paced reads that, yes, like you have to think or critically think, but it's not so heavy or weighing me down. And yeah, I really need that right now. Because I rolled a double, I have to roll again, and that doesn't count as my 5 original rolls, so this will be an additional one. So let's see where we go. Myth, lore, legend, and fairy tales. Read a book inspired by myth, lore, legend, or fairy tales, e.g. a retelling. I know exactly which one I'm going to pick. We're going to do The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. So I'm so glad this is one that I can finally read. I've heard so much about this book, and I've read Circe by Madeline Miller. I listened to the audiobook and thought it was absolutely genius and just something I hadn't really thought about. Like, I love retellings, but that just took it to a whole new level, and I feel like I'm going to love this one. Back to our regularly scheduled programming, and hopefully no more doubles. We'll see. I don't know if I should be hoping for more doubles because I want to read more books, or not, because it's just a risk to see what kind of book the prompt satisfy, because it could be a massive book, or I don't know. That's just part of the game though, and part of the fun. Steal a book. Steal a book from somebody else's TBR. It doesn't have to be a BookoplAthon TBR. You can find a playlist of BookTube TBRs at this link. All right, this is a little challenging since some of the books that are on people's TBRs I don't own, or they're audiobooks, and I want to have print books for this part at least, and then audiobooks I'll decide later on as the month goes on and what comes up in my Libby app. So when I listened to the video of Becca's intro and announcement of this game, she had said that you can use like Goodreads or somebody else's TBR. So I'm gonna look over at Goodreads. All right, I think I have one. So my friend Michael just finished, or is just starting, this book, I believe. It's The Heart's Invisible Furies by John Boyne. And this I received from, or I bought from Book of the Month Club a long time ago. It's also a massive book, so you can understand why I haven't potentially, or haven't read it yet. But I had heard about this from my friend Liz at Read by the Color. She'd also read this book when she was reading all of her pink books. So that is a really cool challenge that she has, that she's going through the rainbow and reading books with the same color on the cover. So I saw this and I knew that it was on my shelf, and I love like the simplicity of the cover, the minimalism of it. It reminds me, it's probably not the same story at all, but it reminds me of the Invisible Life of Addie LaRue cover with it's just the text and like a little bit of some elements here. So we see some arrows. So that should be interesting. No idea what this is about, but I'm excited to A, get a chunky book read, B, be able to talk to my friend about this when I'm done reading it, and C, just picking a book in general. All right, we're doing great. Here we go. LGBTQA representation. Read a book featuring a main character that is a member of the LGBTQIA plus community. So, I will be honest, this was a little tricky. I don't know if I can tell based off the books if it's going to have that representation in it. I feel like big name books that I see on like Book Talk and Bookstagram like really show like this is a book you should read that fits this genre or this category. So that I had one picked out initially when this roll happened, but I don't know. I'm struggling with this one because I don't want to read it because it's like, I want to read a book that of course fits that representation, but I don't want to be in the same like, oh, like everybody's read this one, or like this is the defining LGBTQIA one, and I know this one has been shared a lot. I still want to read it, but I just want to give that preface of I'm not aware of other ones on my shelves that I haven't started or don't know much about that could have this representation. I mean, I could always look, but this is the first one that I had thought of. So, and I don't mean to be like apologetic about it. I just know this is a big one that people have talked about so much, and I'm trying to do more that people haven't thought of before, but I just don't know because of these books that I have. I just don't know much about them. And maybe that's something I need to do in the future, is be more intentional so that I can give a wide range of options and choices. So it's not just like this is the one book to read or the one that I own. I mean, I read Boyfriend Material, Written in the Stars, Red, White, and Royal Blue. But again, like I had known that those were LGBTQIA to begin with. They're like this one I wouldn't have known initially just by looking at the cover or even reading the back. So I think that's where I was struggling with. But anyway, it is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn and Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And yeah, I'm a big fan of TJR. I'm very excited about this one. This has been on my to read list for a while, and I do hope it lives up to the hype, for me at least. Like sometimes, like I read the plot last month and it did not. Like I thought it was very predictable, and like I knew immediately what was going to happen. And like that's a fine feeling, but if you just know and then you get to the end and you're like, okay, like it was good, but, and that was a hyped up book. Anyway, I'm gonna put this down, move on, and hope I enjoy this. Lowest rated. Oh dear. Organize your Goodreads TBR by average rating. Read the one with the lowest average rating. Oh gosh, I'm kind of nervous about this. I really don't know much about this book. I remember when I got it in the mail, there was like a note with it saying like, congrats. Yeah, thank you for signing up for this giveaway. I honestly don't even remember signing up for this giveaway. So this is called Balcony of Fog by Rich Shapero. I think this got like average of 2 stars. 2.43 stars, so not the best. It had 242 reviews. That's a decent amount. Oh. Okay. All right, well, this is going to, I'm not going to read what some of the reviews are because I feel like that's going to cloud maybe your judgment of it before you've had a chance to read it if you want to. The genres that are included are fantasy, sci-fi, paranormal, and romance. So things I do enjoy and things I've read in the past. Let me read you, since this might not be one that you've heard of before, let me read the synopsis. It's not letting me like expand it. It says, decamp with an innocent toiler and his mysterious female companion to a metaphoric world in the clouds, a strange, vertiginous perch that reveals startling insight about the twisted dynamics of love, and then it cuts off. So I don't know. That's not a good sign either, but you know, it's been on my shelf. I've kept it on my shelf. I could have unhauled it, and I didn't. And there's a reason behind that. I don't know what that is right now. I think it's curiosity, maybe, so we'll see more about that. As you can tell, I'm very excited, which sounds terrible. I should be excited about all the books that I read, but I think this is why I want to read more or like expand on or share more books that people haven't heard of, because that's a terrible reaction to have to begin with. I mean, like that low ratings don't help. I haven't seen this book anywhere, which could be a good thing. That it could be a hidden gem and I can help reveal it more. So we're just gonna go with it, be positive, and see where this takes me. So it's hyped. Read a book that you have heard a lot of people talking about and has received glowing reviews. This is like the complete opposite of what I just experienced, but On Earth for Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. So this I picked up at Tombolo Books, I believe. Yeah, when I was in Tampa. And I had seen this author before, or I think this is like one of the more subtle, like literary novels out there. I've seen, but it hasn't been like all over the place. But I still think it's been hyped. And I know that they're coming out with, I think it's either short stories or poems in the next year or so, but I wanted to understand what their voice is and everything. Now that I'm getting more into poems and like different kinds of reads like that, or like short stories too, I think this will be good to see what their style is and then go into their next piece. All right, so as I went along, I have filled out my, I guess, TBR or my board like this. So very exciting. This is gonna be interesting. I feel that if I get through all of these, well, one, I should say, I don't know what the order I'm going to read them in. I guess that's up to me. It doesn't have to be the order that I roll them in. It could be any order. So I don't know what I'll start with. Maybe the chunkier book, maybe the hyped, the lowest rating. I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe I'll do a vote over on Instagram and go from there. But I if I do get through all of them, I will roll again from where I left off, which was I left off at Hyped, and there's a chance I might get a double and have to read 2 more books. I don't know. It's kind of exciting to see where this could take me, but I love this idea. I didn't have to pick up any cards, which is like kind of sad because it's like, oh, like I wonder what's gonna happen, but that's okay. It's all good. I'll see during another time if I play this game again if that will play a part of it. So yeah, I think that is everything. Thanks for coming along on this journey with me as I roll to find out what my books are. I love these kind of TBR games. I'm thinking about coming up with one of my own, not to be like to add more noise to the folks that are doing it so well, but I just think it's so fun. And like seeing how much effort goes into this and the resources that Becca provided and the Discord channel that she has and how involved the readers are and participants are, it's just really cool. Like I love already being a part of it, and maybe I'll come up with one in the future. I know I've kind of slacked on the reading challenges this year. I've mentioned that I've had my new job, some other transition stuff happening that I just need to focus on, so I didn't want to put half-hearted effort into putting a reading challenge together to finish out the year. There's still potential that could happen, that I do have the time and energy to do that, but it is tentative at this moment, or not at any point where I can say like, yes, we're definitely doing something, or I'm thinking about doing it this month, or blah blah blah. So my apologies on that, but I hope that you can participate in something like this. I'll link to Becca's announcement video and her resources down below if you are interested in participating. I think it's going to be super fun and a good way to connect with other readers. She's based out of the UK, so that's pretty cool as well. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a great time. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a great time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, comment down below. I feel like I was in such like a weird mood today where I was especially talking about the lowest rated book and the LGBTQIA read. I just had like opinions, but I just feel like I wasn't getting them across right or the way that I wanted to, so I really apologize for that. I don't know, just a lot happening in the world if you haven't noticed, and I don't know, I think that's like making me think about things in a different kind of way, and wanting to, I don't know, like wanting to bring awareness but also wanting to be positive and realistic at the same time. So weird funk I'm in right now, but reading does help that, as well as exercising for me, and just taking time for myself. And yeah, feel free to hit subscribe and check out when I'll be posting next. I usually post 1 video a week, usually on Monday, so you can hit the notification bell to know when I post next, I guess. And yeah, I hope you have a great day and happy reading.